Another year at university completed, as if today couldn't get any better. It's time. Hi guys, Matt the Editor here, and I'm back, baby! In video form. Yes, I finally finished my second year at university. Well, not technically, I mean, we still have our end of year screening, which is probably next week or next couple of weeks. But the important thing is, I finished my work, it's handed in, and now I am ready to get back to work with these reviews, and of course, my Series 2 FA adventures, so, which I think is coming along okay. Film-wise, still waiting for some lines from some people, and for those of you who don't know, I'm open for some voice actors to appear in my upcoming Series 2 of my Doctor Who FA adventures, and so those of you who are interested in taking part, then be sure to DM me, private message me, or leave a comment below, and we'll see how it goes from there. But we're not here to talk about that. No. We are here to talk about the next episode of Series 10, Oxygen. How can I start this off? Let's start with the beginning. And I mean the beginning. Let's say to around the episode titles. Pretty obvious these are probably the lamest titles of any Doctor Who episode ever. So far we've got the pilot, which obviously should have been called Star in Her Eye. Smile was okay. I didn't mind Smile. Thin Ice, which was good, and Knock Knock, which is okay, but we don't hear any knocking until the end of the episodes, and I can understand why they call it that. We pretty much had like average episodes. I mean, they were good. They were not great, but I mean, apart from Thin Ice, they were good, but not great, and obviously, when this episode actually was coming up, I didn't have any high hopes for this episode. Until they released the promo pictures. From the magazines, to the articles, to the reviews, the interviews, to the promo pictures and the posters, they looked like this episode was going to be freaking awesome. And now it's out. We've seen it. What did I think of it? Absolutely goddamn mother hubbard brilliant! Oh my gosh, I have never been so chilled in my entire life. I don't mean chill, let's say, no. I mean literally scared, chills, butterflies in my stomach, all that sort of stuff. I have never, oh my god, this episode is freaking brilliant. Not only have we had a really great episode, but in my opinion, this is probably the most Russell T Davies episode we've had in a long time, and it's probably thanks to the writer. What was his name? Jamie Matheson, the guy who wrote The Mummy on the Orient Express. So as always, I'm gonna give you the good, I'm gonna give you the bad, and I'm gonna give you the wibbly wobbly timey wimey. Although it's gonna be very hard to discuss bad stuff since there's only one bad thing in this episode, but I'll get to that later. First the good! Let's first talk about the first opening minutes, and I mean the prologue. It's very Gravity, Passengers, Alien-like, and it's obvious this feels like a proper sci-fi space disaster film. The people floating in space, which I thought, hey, are we watching Gravity? And down to Peter Capaldi reciting the quote, "Space, the final frontier," which, god damn it, I saw it coming. I knew he was going to say, I knew there was going to be a Star Trek joke in there somewhere, but I don't know what the speech was, so I can allow it. Everything about these opening seconds was shot really well. To the cinematography of how we see the threats for the first time, from the shadows coming down to the feet laying on the floor to the zombies coming out like this, and then we cut to a wide shot of the guy fixing it, and then we see this helmet flying up, and I was like, oh dang. We see three of them for the first time charging across, and I was like, Dan, man, Dan! Big props to the cinematography, to the direction, to the cinematography, to the set design. Oh, just big props to the production crew in general. Sorry, I'm scratching my eye. I'm tired. From the low angles to the shadows to even the shot of the space zombies walking across the space station. I'll get to that later. When those opening minutes happened, I was like, oh, this is gonna be good! Capaldi, Doctor, is there anything this man can do? We've got another lecture with him, which is good, which is pretty much why I thought they could have added into the pilot episode. I actually like that he was talking about space and he's got all his stardust and he's drawing it out like a skull. That was very intriguing. And when the students asks him, what's this got to do with crop rotation? And he's like, oh, but space is interesting, isn't it? I was like, Dan Capaldi, is there anything you can't do to make us smile? It's obvious the Doctor wants to go out into space like it's camping, but he can't because he's stuck on Earth and he has to guard this vault, which we're gonna find out obviously in the next episode, or maybe not. Maybe they lied to us. I literally love the scenes with him and Nada. I'll get to him later. There's sort of banter between them that, you know, he obviously, you know, he's trying to get away and Nada's obviously getting in his way, and he's and there's a moment he's saying, who told you that? You did. Ah, well, you shouldn't trust me now. Haha. I also like the bit where, you know, he's commenting on the sci-fi space station and he's saying, standard designs, not all that nonsense with the shunk shunk shunk. And Matt Lucas is like, isn't it sort of... In this episode, we see the Doctor go blind. And he was outside, he was saving Bill, and then we get this one shot of him turn around and he's literally blind. It was really shocking to see this character that you've spent 50 years following through time and space, and then to see something like that. Actually, there's a moment where the Doctor has to leave Bill behind, and there's this bit afterwards where he's going ballistic, he's going crazy even though he's blind. He decides to take revenge, and he also comments on that, you know, when people say it's not your fault. Well, it is. It definitely shows how the Doctor is really off his game in this bit. This episode clearly feels like a space disaster movie, especially when it comes to the ending. The Doctor decides to kill everyone by wiring up the cooling system. He decides to destroy them. If there's no plan, then that's the revenge. And he says, revenge is as bright as the sun. I can see across galaxies. Not bad for a blind man. Die a good death. Dang! But oh my god, just the ending there, you know, when you think, he's back to normal, everything's back to normal. But then, oh my god, we find out at the end of the episode that he wasn't technically blind. He is actually blind. He cannot see a thing. From the moment he takes off his sunglasses, he goes, I can't see ever again. I'm still blind. Chills. What does this mean for the rest of the series? Pearl Maggie's Bill has really pushed this character far in this episode. We literally see Bill really literally scared in this episode, you know, from the fear of dying, from being left behind, from the vacuum suction or the gravity stuff. She also has some funny moments like asking if there are any reviews like restaurants. I thought, that's interesting, you should get that looked at. What if I throw up? Colour and smell. Right, don't throw up. got it. But of course, this episode is meant to really push Bill's fear in this episode, and it clearly shows. This is one bit where, you know, they're opening the vacuum suction bits, you know, the air vents and all that, and Bill has lost her helmet. She's losing her air as the vents open, and oh, it is literally terrifying to watch. From, you know, there's no sound, her skin is all going pale, and then just when it gets to that one bit when the screen just goes all red, I literally just sat on my chair and went, for some reason Bill's suit is the only thing that's stopping. I don't know why, but I'm guessing it's because of the suit that's controlling it. I don't know. And the doctor, because he's blind, he leaves Bill to die, which in my opinion was a throwback to leaving Clara behind in Deep Breath. I think it's by then that Bill is starting to wonder whether she should really trust him. Seeing Bill being possessed, being taken under control, damn, man. And of course, the one thing everyone's going to talk about, when she's taken over, she's screaming for her mum. I'm not going to lie, if I was in that situation, I would have done the same thing too. We get these like sort of flashbacks of her mum's pictures, which I thought was nice. Just see screaming for her mum, but that was really sad. That was it's a nice little effect. You know the idea of, you know, when you die, your light flashes in your eyes, and what we got is her mum. And I think it's probably obvious we're gonna get a lot more knowing a bit more about Bill's mum, maybe throughout this series. Maybe she's the one who's in the fault. There's a theory. Maybe Bill's mum's in the fault. Big props to Matt Lucas and Nardo. Finally, he's got something to do! I know some people might like or dislike Nardo, but I don't blame Matt Lucas. I just blame all the writing, because obviously in the first couple of episodes, it's meant to be Bill's episode, but Nardo is just there for some reason. But what I like about Nardo in this episode, you know, he does have his funny moments, especially around Bill, which I literally like watching scenes with Matt Lucas and Bill, just like in the pilot episode, where, you know, he's kind of like an assistant, and he's helping out Bill, teaching Bill a little bit more. I actually like the moment where, you know, he's saying, "Relax or die." No, that sounded bad. Sorry, I just thought that might cheer you up. And I also like the bit where he's going, "Okay, just breathe in and out, breathe in and out." That's my Matt Lucas impression. I hope you're watching. Cheers! Yeah, but if there's one thing I really like about Nardo in this episode, he's not the funny, bumbling idiot now. No. He takes it serious. I especially love how he's standing up to the doctor, even though the doctor's the one who brought him back to life, and, you know, he's ordered Nardo to follow his orders. But Nardo, he looks like someone who really wants to get his job done. He doesn't want to disobey any orders. He's there. He has a job to do. He has to get it right. No situations around, no problems, no distractions or anything like that. He even has his cunning moments. This is big in the times where he says, "I saw right through you, so I took the fluid out." Throughout the first half of the episode, he's literally trying to get the doctor and Bill back to the TARDIS. He's like, I think we should get going now. Can't you just tell your girl to shut up? Velma, that's her name, hey. I especially love the shot at the end where Bill is hugging the doctor, and then Nardo just slowly leans in and he goes, "Cuddle." That was so sweet. You mind if I join in? By far, I think the best bit about Nardo in this episode, especially for Matt Lucas, because, well, he's gone from now funny, classic, ha 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 moments to now very serious, drama, tense moments in this series. You know, he goes up to the doctor, and when he says the word "never again," I just literally froze. I just literally stopped. I felt like my heart was stopped beating. I was like, oh boy. What if you get killed? What if something happens to you? What if you get, I don't know, sick or anything like that? And what happens when the person in the fall comes out? What are you gonna do then? You need to stand up to the game. You need to be ready. Look at me right now. I know I'm Matt Lucas, and you haven't given me much to do, but you have to listen to me and up your game. So I'm here, I'm doing my job, so there, shut up. I like him. I really like him. What else can I talk about this episode than the space zombies? They're freaking brilliant. I have never seen anything so frightening since any of the episodes I've mentioned in my previous review. Just everything about them, just from the dead grey, lifeless bodies with the bulging eyes and the veins, from the suits which are actually controlling them. They're the ones actually walking, not them. There's this one shot where it's got all the zombies walking outside the station, and it's well shot. It was well shot and well executed. But to me, the music that they played at that one sequence, I could not help but think of the classic Doctor Who music from, like, you know, the Tomb of the Cybermen, or the Daleks, or any of the old classic music, the sort of high-pitched raising bit of music. When this episode needs to get really terrifying, they literally go really terrifying from the moment when the Doctor and Bill comes in the room, and then there's this straight up close-up shot, this lifeless dead body just there. Chills, man, chills. From the moment when they're stuck in the vacuum station, and then we see this one shot of this dead body in the dark, looking through the window, just staring at the camera. I literally kind of felt like I wanted to hide behind the sofa, seriously. However, there were some moments when, you know, they're marching or lining up, and I couldn't help but think, if you put metal suits on them to go with the marching sound effects, then you've pretty much got the Cybermen. There's also this one moment where they've got like the light on their chest and it's scanning the electricity on the doorway. Kind of Dalek-like, if you ask me. I wonder. Oh, and for references only, you might recognise one of the zombies, which is that disappointed artist who's been in a lot of Doctor Who episodes. He always comes to Comic Con. What was his name? I think I spotted him. He's doing a very good job. Good kudos to you, sir. Villain's plan. Basically just to lure all these people in the station, and then have their suits collect all their oxygens, leaving their bodies behind, and then they store all these oxygens for some reason. But who are they going to sell the oxygen to? Spaceballs? But then again, that does show how some businesses can be cruel, manipulative, and or mad. It kind of reminded me of Rassilon in the Time War, from Batman Marches series. So if you watch them, you get the idea. With the supporting characters, there's only one who stands out, and not because he is blue. Darren, or was it Dahren? I mean, the rest they do fine, but Darwin, he pretty much stands out, and not because he's blue. Yeah, I like the little moment when they rescue Bill and the Doctor, and he's all like, oh, we've rescued a racist. And I also like the moment where he's with Matt Lucas, and Matt Lucas is going, alright, yeah. You know, I used to have friends who were bluish, and he's just like, now for the bad. The supporting characters, man, they just can't get it right. Okay, so what have we got? We've got a red shirt captain, a stereotypical doubtful person who tries to kill the Doctor later on, but then reforms herself at the end of the episode when the Doctor saves their lives. A random crew member who has a crush for some reason with another female member who died in the prologue. You see what I'm going through here? I mean, I don't blame the actors. I mean, they've done a good job, but to me, those characters, they're pretty much the most forgettable characters in any episode of this series so far. I mean, Smile, yeah, those characters were pointless, but at least we can remember them. Heather, sure, she was only there just to be possessed, but at least she was likeable. And don't get me started on the children in Thin Ice or Knock, but these characters they're completely forgettable. And I understand they're the stereotypical people. I mean, there's this one female stereotypical character. Yeah, and throughout the episode, I could not just look at her and think of Oswald from The Shadows of the Fashion and Rada. As awesome as this episode, the story is, it kind of drags a little bit. I mean, yeah, we've got our chase sequences, we've got our scary moments, we've even got our spectacular moments. But there's moments in this episode where it just kind of drags a little bit. Like, from when they arrive, it takes a while for them to actually find the crew. Trying to save the day, there's just like a lot of talking before something actually happened. And now for the wibbly wobbly timey wimey. This episode really does feel like a space disaster horror film. Especially when it comes to the end, when they find out that there's no rescue ship. They're just replacements. There was no malfunctioning. The suits were designed to save the oxygen from the people by their employers. By the employers. And the way they got this episode, the doctor just says, our deaths will be expensive. What? And as much as it's cool to see Bill taking over, and the doctor going all revenge, like going crazy, decides to kill everyone, which I have to admit, that was actually a cool plan, because he mentions in the end he was actually lying to trick the enemy in, as he says later on in the episode, never tell your enemy your secret plan, which that is so true. And we then find out Bill was never dead. Wait, what? I'm not gonna lie, I kind of saw it coming. But I still ask myself, how? How is Bill the only one who survived the attacks? How did she survive? While I do enjoy seeing Bill leading the army of the undead, it still doesn't make sense of how she survived for me. Now and again there's this random shot of the space station on the monitor, and then there's like this sentence saying that he's in section 12. I literally have no idea why. Look, oxygen, I know you're trying to be 42, but the reason those shots worked, it was because it was a countdown. This wasn't. So those shots were completely pointless. And maybe it's just me personally, but I think this should have been a 2-part story. I know we've had so many 2-part stories set in a space station or an under siege story, but I also think that this could have worked if it was longer. That way we would have had more time with the supporting characters, more time to have the threat be increased, raise the stakes a little bit. And now for the conclusion. What can I say? This episode is incredible, and it really does show. The budget of this series was clearly used a lot in this episode, and I can obviously tell the production team, the actors, the crews, the writers, really put a lot of effort into making this. The characters sell the episode, the threat is terrifying, and I really appreciate a lot of effort being put into this episode. It does have its flaws here and there, but it cannot stop this from being a cinematic episode of Series 10. I just wish it was a 2-parter episode. So in the end, I'm giving this episode 9 out of 10 for now. Maybe in time this episode might change, but for now it's 9 out of 10. So yeah, Extremis, bring it on. If the next episode can be as good as this episode, then we are back! Yeah. And from the trailer, it does look good. I really love the look of the landscapes, the priesthood, the religious aspect might possibly be in it, and I can't wait to see what it does. Not that much excited for Missy now. I am intrigued with where they're taking this series now that the Doctor is blind. Be sure to leave a comment, like and share this video, and if you have seen the episode, what did you think about it? If you'd like to see more of my videos, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Let's roll.